What you see right here is our dashboard for our community, Sunshine Sample Shores. Down here, we have our payment section where we can identify if we're on auto pay, any payments that are due on the account. We have our recent transactions, any payments that were recently done. Down here, we have our inbox, any recent communications like broadcast emails, collection notifications, violation notifications, anything with an email will be here in your inbox section. And then if you keep scrolling down, you have your board actions. So these are all the action items that you'll see that are under your board portal. Over here, you see an ARC section. So this indicates that your community is set up for online ARC voting. And then if you scroll back up, if you had multiple accounts, you can toggle between all your accounts in this drop-down menu up here. Right now, I'm just a board member with just one account, so only one property is being shown. On this dashboard, you will also see this Ask HOAI, and this is that virtual chat agent that Zoe had mentioned. This is the little chat bot where you can ask certain questions, and it'll provide you an answer pretty much right away. So just as an example, we'll start off here. Let's say I want to know what the rules are for fences. And right now, the agent is searching your governing documents or your rules and regulations that are stored in this document section over here on the left-hand side. And it only, took a few seconds for it to formulate your answer, and it pulls up all the regulations for fences inside this community. It gives you the type of fences that are allowed, the height limits, the location restrictions, your related landscaping restriction, and approved required FAQ information, along with some additional notes. And then it provides you the source of where they found that rule. A lot of these questions can be answered with the chatbot, so feel free to just ask it any and all questions that you can. If it ever runs into an issue, it will actually create a service request and assign it to your managing team. And then they'll pick it up and then try to get you the best answer you can. Or it can send a service request if it needs to go to a contracted vendor. Traveling back over here to the left-hand side, you have your payment section. You can click that and it'll provide more information on this page. Here's where you can make your payments, manage the payments, and then download any account statements. You can do a transaction history, your statement, which includes the coupon, any of your future charges, or just a charge summary. So you have all the options to do this yourself instead of having to, wait on your managing team to get back to you. Over here, we have our request tab. This is where you can submit all the types of requests that will go to your managing team. Your ARC request on this page, it actually has the form shortcut on this page, so you won't have to go to the documents section to pull up that form or search all the multiple folders that your community has. You can select that form and download it straight to your device. Most forms, we are trying to make sure that they are completely fillable, so they don't need to be printed out, handwritten, and then scanned and signed or sent back in. Up here, we have these fillable areas where you can type in the information that you're applying for. Down here, Vantaca has been listening to us. So here's where we could select a separate property if we had to. So, but right now I only have one unit, so I'm going to go ahead and select that one unit. And then from this drop down, these are the approved categories that owners can submit applications for. So this is where they can select their roof replacement. And then once they have their forms and all the required documents, they can drag and drop the files into this section and press submit form, and it'll go straight to the managing team to finish out the application process. The next type of request that you can submit is a general request, and these are the different questions that you can ask. And then most of these questions already have a dedicated team assigned to these questions. So it goes straight to the person that needs to answer that question. So it doesn't need to be bounced around from, a manager to your accountant back to the manager. We have these set up where it goes straight to the source that has the information and they can answer it as quickly as possible. And this last type of request, we have our actual service requests, where we can report any irrigation leaks, any roof leaks, landscaping requests, shrub installation, anything like that. They can type in all that information, select their property, and submit that form, and then it goes straight to the managing team. This next tab, some communities might have this set up and some don't. Right now, we are looking at the reservation tab. So if you had amenities like a clubhouse, this community has a spa that they can reserve, tennis courts. The owners can have the option to come in here and make these reservations. And then depending on the amenity, if it's an auto approve, they can go ahead and make their reservation. And once they press submit, it automatically blocks off that time on the amenity calendar, so no other owners can request the same amenity for the same time. And like I said, some communities might not have this, and if this does interest you and you want to get this set up, please let us know. This next tab is your compliance and notices. As a board member, you'll see all the collection notices and any type of violations that are sent to you, as well as to the owners in your board actions section down here. They just have two different shortcuts that you can get to. Your calendar and events, these are where all the community events are happening. Board members actually have the access to go ahead and create the event on this calendar. So if you had, a food truck come into the clubhouse, you can mark your event, title it, select your start and end times. If you want to do a repeat event and just go ahead and schedule it for the rest of the year, you can do your events for, daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Add your little description. And then you can select the visibility to the public, homeowner, or board only. So depending on whatever the event is, just make sure your securities are set. And once that's done, you press your save event, and then it's posted on that date. And if it's a repeat event, it will show up every week on the same day, whatever you select. And then the same thing goes for the amenity calendar over here. You can see any events or any reservations that are set on the amenity calendar. This next section is your directory. So this is basically the view of a homeowner. These are all the owners that live inside your community. If you ever see any phones or emails listed, that is because that owner had opted in to show their phone and email. A lot of people do want to keep their information private, which go for it. They just need to make sure they come to their My Profile section and set up their information the way that they want it to be listed on here. This document section, here's all the files and information that we make public to the owners. So instead of waiting on management to give them a wind mitigation form, they can come to their portal on that document section and download the file straight from here. We also make sure that we keep all the required documents that Florida makes us have available for all the owners. So we make sure we keep this as updated as possible. So just to come into this folder, click on that folder, And then you can have these files here, which the owner can just download straight to their device. If there is ever a time a board member wants to send them a link to just that file, if they click on the file, it actually populates a new link up here where they can copy that and email it to the owner. And once they do that, it takes them straight to that file and they can download it. Um, Most of the time, we board members can offer that if the person that they're speaking with isn't the best with computers and technology. So anything to speed up that process and get that owner the document that they need, we want to make sure that's available. These next two tabs, these are customized tabs. So if you do want to enhance your portal and add custom tabs, get with us. We will provide a quote for the services. So if you want to have a section dedicated to your board of directors and give the background of your information or of yourself so that owners know who their boards are, we can go ahead and set that up for you. And then we can add multiple tabs on here. I would just need to speak with you, the board, and figure out what you would like to see in that portal and get that situated for you. So this one, we have an Alliant information tab where it shows who their manager is, how owners can reach them. We have their email and their phone number. The Alliant information tab where they can contact Alliant directly, and then the services that we provide. But keep in mind, this is just an example, so we can make this tab whatever you need it to be. So if that interests you, please get with us and we can have a follow-up conversation with you. And moving on here, we have on the FAQ section, most portals have actual videos for owners. Right now, I'm just in a test community, but those videos are how to submit a request, how to change your password, how to update your contact information, just helpful how-to videos that owners can always go to this FAQ page and watch those videos. And now moving down to your board actions for all the board members. So here is where you can see all the actions that you should keep an eye on as a board member. Right now, we will talk about the ARCs. So this community wants to do online voting for ARC applications. Once they have an ARC application that is ready for review, it'll show up here in the My Items page. If they click all items, you'll see any applications that are currently in process of getting finalized to get sent over to the ARC committee. So anything that requires a vote will be on the My Items page. So this one is ready for review. The board member will click on this application. Up here, you have this little paperclip. Once you see this paperclip, it means there's an attachment. So if you click on the paperclip, that will pull up the application that the owner had submitted. So we have our application for the community, has your ARC guidelines listed. Here's the owner's information, the project type of what they are submitting their application for, who their company is, who the primary contact is, all the required information they have filled out. They have their insurance. And then they have a picture of the driveway or the pavers that they are wanting to install. So once you review all the documents that were submitted, if you are the ARC chairperson, you will have the option to go ahead and approve or decline the application. Once the application has been fully completed and it's ready for approval, if you just press approve, it then kicks it over to the managing team to go ahead and send out an approval letter to the owner. And same goes for the denial. If you notice on the application that there was an issue and you don't want to approve it or deny it just yet, and you're wanting to request more information. So as you see on this insurance certificate, their policies expired on the 22nd. So a good tool is this send message option. You can send messages to these followers on the app on the action item. So you can send a message and include the ARC committee and the admin assistant for that property. Type in the issue. And then send the message. And then that goes over to the managing team to go ahead and relay the message to the owner. We could also add the homeowner in this section. We would just need to create them as a follower on the action item. But most of the time, we just try to make sure that the boards communicate with the managing team directly instead of having to get the owner involved. And then the entire communication trail stays on this application. So once you look at it, you will see any communication that was sent to you and the managing team. Moving on to your invoices page. A lot of the seasoned board members, they may be aware of the issues that we've been having. I did get a confirmation yesterday that the invoice approvals that were staying on the My Items page has been resolved as of yesterday. So right now I see an invoice on my action items that's ready for approval. We can go ahead and view the invoice either by clicking the action or the little paperclip, or we can actually click view to take us to the GL along with the message page and any recent invoices that were paid to that vendor. Board members, I don't know if you are aware, if you notice that the wrong GL or the bank account is assigned, board members have the option to go ahead and correct that. They would click on the edit button over here, select the correct bank account, select the correct fund, and select the correct GL account. Whenever you make your changes, just please add a note of what you did so that our team can see it on our end on the action item as well. Over here on the message section, you can see the entire communication trail between the vendor and our team. You can see it keep scrolling up, and then you can actually see a copy of the invoice when you press view attachment. And if there was multiple attachments, they would be included, but most of the time we keep it to one. And then once you notice that all the information is good, you can go ahead and approve your invoice. This next step goes to check for signature approval. You can disregard this because this is for our team to go ahead and process the rest of the invoice and just press submit. And now it goes over to our payables team. And then this next closed section, if there were any closed out invoices, you can see it here. And now we'll move on to the work orders. So this is a pretty quiet community. There's only 3 work orders open for this community. But we come to this section. Right now, we see a work order that's brand new and is currently assigned to the admin. You can go ahead and see what the issue is. This owner is reporting a broken sprinkler. If there was a picture that was on that work order, it would be included. And if you want to go ahead and send a message to the manager, mark the importance. And now the manager is going to get a message in their dashboard saying, hey, please get eyes on this. Please send it right away. And then now we see the ones that are currently assigned and pending. And then you can see the communication trail between us, the homeowner, and the vendor. And then these tabs, pretty similar. If there's any closed out work orders, you see it on the closed tab. You could do the last 30 days, 6 months, year, or all time. This next tab is your collections tab. Here's all the owners that are currently have a collection action item open. Whenever you are on your dash or on these tabs, whenever you see these three little lines, these are called columns. If you click on these columns, you can add and remove any column that you want to be shown or hidden on this page. Once you have the columns set up to your liking, come over here to your little gear icon and then press Save Grid Settings so you don't need to do it every single time you go into your portal. So with this collection action item, you can press View and you can see the communication trail between our collections team. All the information is documented on the action item, so you can see everything. Moving on to your homeowner tab. Just keep in mind, since you are a board member, this homeowner tab is going to be a lot different than this directory. Since you're a board member, you have access to more information. And the same thing goes for this columns. Go ahead and add and remove any columns here. So let's say if you are speaking, with a neighbor and they're saying, "Hey, I'm not getting any response from Alliant on this action item." If they provide you this XN number, you can actually go to their account, find that XN of what they are referring to, and you can actually look at the information. Click on the action item, and it'll take you to the entire communication trail between Alliant and that owner. You can see their summary and any transactions all the payments that they had made. And then on this include closed section, this will pull up any closed action items that were sent out. So if the owner is saying, I didn't get the email about the upcoming seal coating project, you can actually come to their portal and you'll see that they did get the message. And if they responded, you would actually see their response to a line as well. So just if you ever come across an owner's page and you don't see the action item posted, just press include closed and it'll pull up all the closed out action items. Down here, we have the bank account information. Here's you can see your operating and your savings account, whatever bank accounts are listed here. Click on view to take you to that bank account. Any information that's available will be shown here. The next section is your reports. Here we have access to run all these different types of reports. ARCs, if you want to know the recent owner transfers that have happened inside the community. Any report that you see, go ahead and press view, and you can customize your dates up here. Once you press preview, it'll run the report. Let's do violations. It's just the reports. As long as you're keeping, change your dates, you have the options to go ahead and sort it, show all the information that you want to see on this report. If you want to see just the step changes or all notes or just the description, select everything that you would like, and you can sort it by these street numbers, street name. Go ahead and press preview, and it'll formulate your report. Once you have the report, you can go ahead and download it to your device. So we don't have any inspections for this community. This is actually a new function that they're implementing. So any inspections that were done by your manager, there's going to be basically reports that board members can pull. Let's say the manager was there 2 weeks ago. You want to see what they found during their inspection. Once this is fully operational, you'll be able to select that inspection date and you can see all the violations that they documented that day. So this does look like they're close to finalizing that. I wish it wasn't visible just yet, but hopefully this gets finalized as soon as possible. This next tab, you have your violations. So here is actually all the open violations for the community. Um, Go ahead, customize your columns to your liking. And then here is where you can see the violation. Here's a copy of our old letterhead, basically the notice getting sent to the owner for their dirty roof. If there was any pictures, it would be here in the drop-down menu. And then on these columns, you can organize it by the step. So right now, this one's just add a courtesy letter, but you will see all the different steps you have created for your community. So courtesy letters, a violation letter, fine hearing, or fine imposed, all that information is available for the board members. And then the same thing, come to your close section, and then you can sort it for the last 36 or look at all the closed violations. And then here you have your board member how-to videos. So these are going to be the similar videos for the owners. So here we have all these different types of videos that were created by Vantaca for you to, if you need to know how to perform certain board actions. If you start to see, or if you see a video that you will, or if you don't see a video but you think that something should be added, let us know. We will see if Vantaca can go ahead and create a video and assign it on this tab. And then down here is your My Profile section. Here's where you can add your contact information, emails, addresses, phone numbers. You can mark it as a primary. When you're clicking on the address section, you have where you can mark it as a mailing address. Go ahead and label it and fill out all your information, and you can press add. If you are needing to just edit your primary contact information, you can, as long as you see this little pencil, go ahead and press that pencil, and then all these tabs, well, your primary mailing address, it may be blocked off if you don't have a secondary address. But if you do have a secondary address, then you'll have the option to edit your primary. And then the same thing goes for your phone and email. Click on your little pencil, and then you can update that information. Your login info, this is the tab where you can update your password. So you just enter in your current password that you're using to get into your portal, add your new password, retype it in the confirm new password, and then press your save changes. And then your account preferences. This is the page I was referring to earlier when we were going over the directory. Here's where you can set your communication preferences. This owner, my board member, wants to get their billing communication via paper. Let's go ahead and change the communication preference for their general communication preference to email. If you would like to get payment confirmation emails, go ahead and check that off. Right now, we do have this payment reminder text disabled on a lot of accounts, but if you are an owner who wants to go ahead and get those texts, go ahead and check that off. Provide your number. And then this directory section, this is up here in this directory. This is where you can show or hide your name and show your number, email address, and mailing address, or hide them all. And once you select everything that you need, just press update, and then it's updated automatically. So that is your homeowner portal.